yell Barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Shut up. I'm rich. I'm richer than all this, you Hollywood trash.
A, you can never go too far. B, if I'm gonna get busted, it is not gonna be by a guy like that.
I'll be back.
Here's Johnny.
It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have our next guest in. She is none other than Shannon Watson. She created Majority in the Middle. We love having her on the program as often as we can get her on. How are you doing today, Shannon Watson?
I am doing well, Al. I am in Canada, and it is Canada Day, so I'm very interested to see how enthusiastic the Canadians get about their national holiday.
Yeah, have they got rid of all the smoke up there? They were killing us for a long time with all that smoke. They got them put out yet?
You know, we're in Alberta, and so far it is a beautiful day. We haven't had any smoke at all.
Good for you.
So, fingers crossed.
All right. It's been a heady, emotional, almost 2 weeks now, right? Since everything that happened. I'm not saying it's just over now, but with the funerals now behind us, is it time for folks like you and I to get back into the business of doing business? And even if it is, can we do it better than we were doing it before?
Absolutely. I do think, funerals are an important sort of milestone. And those are, there's the pomp and the circumstance, but also just sort of the psychological closure that brings, or maybe not even closure, but just marking that time. And I think moving forward and trying to do things better is kind of the only thing we can do.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and hopefully to do it better. Like say, I said this before, must have been with Megan today. For the people that I follow, senators and representatives, and there are 201 of them. I don't follow all of them. I don't necessarily even know if I know every one of them, but I follow enough of them. And from the time of the shooting and all that went on that day, with support, right up until the funeral, I will tell you, I did not see one negative or political post other than we're supporting you. And I only saw goodness for all of that time. And I felt wonderful about it. Now, there are out the next circle out, people who make their living saying stupid stuff. Some of them did. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but they did. And okay, you be you. Now, of course, let's get back to business. And on this program, we're going to talk some politics. I'm going to talk some with you, hopefully do it better. I will say, and hopefully you're going to tell me I'm wrong, because maybe I just misread this. I don't have a problem if Biden and Harris want to come, right? Politicians know that, yeah, it can be. I didn't like the posts getting out, the videos getting out, the screenshots. And I say this, Oprah Winfrey, giving away cars. You get a car, you get a car. That'd be wonderful. If you got all the money in the world, you want to give away cars, but don't broadcast it on TV and tell me how great you are. I would have rather, if they're going to take a selfie with the Hoffman, I'll talk to John someday with the Hoffmans, great, take it, and say, you know what, hang on to that for a week, 10 days for me, will you? Because I don't want this to be about me. It should be about, what happened, the tragedy. I felt weird about that. Was as political as I could get with what happened there. I didn't like it much. Great they did it. Right. Shouldn't see it on photos. That's what I'm saying. Does that make any sense?
I think there's a couple of pieces. Do what?
Makes me seem cheap because I want to throw that out there. It isn't about him being a Democrat.
No, I think one of the things about being a very public figure, like the president, is that, whatever you do, you're going to be recognizable. So, like, there was a sort of social media snafu a few weeks back where somebody had taken a picture of themselves. They were in D.C. or something, and somebody walked through the frame of the photo. And normally it would be like, oh, that's really rude, and that, somebody walks behind the picture and we're trying to take this picture. And it turned out it was former President Obama.
Oops.
Right, and that's the thing. Like,
that's funny.
And he apologized, and it was like it only became a thing when people were like looking at their photos, and like, just the recognizable aspect of it. No matter what Biden did or where he went this past weekend, he was going to be recognized.
Yeah.
I do think that at the end of the funeral, the fact that Harris and Biden hung back,
Yeah.
I think that was appropriate. Honestly, it was also probably a security thing, but I thought that was very appropriate, so everybody could, send Mark and Melissa off on the steps, just without people who are recognizable and who are going to be photographed one way or the other.
No, and again, maybe I'm just being petty. I just whatever if you can go give your regards, and I like I say I like the one with Hoffman at the hospital.
Right. Yeah,
and great. Let's take a photo. You can have it on your mantle later, but I just wish, because they, no matter what you do, and this is not ripping Biden or Obama, whatever you do now, it's going to take away from what you're doing, right? Because the president's there, the vice president, you got to have more security. You got to have, obviously they called somebody and said, we're on the way, right? The president doesn't just show up. So it just takes away, and that's not on them. It's because we hold them in high regard. It just takes something away, and it just felt weird to me. I don't want to be petty about it.
Well, and I don't necessarily think it's petty. I think I'm sure, I guarantee you that somebody called and said, would it be okay? Not hey, we're coming. And I think in as much as the funeral is for the people who continue on as for the ones that passed.
Yep.
I think being able to have the former president and vice president of the United States at your mom and dad's funeral, sort of elevates them. Like this is how important your parents were.
Yeah. Oh,
is that
absolutely.
Yeah.
But then who do you call? So I don't know if you know. I just buried my father on Sunday, and we have 7 kids, and there's all these phone calls back and forth, and who's making decisions on this, and the other thing. Let's say Joe Biden says, "I want to go to that funeral. I think we should go and give our respects." Who do you bloomin' call? The kids? I'm going to call Walls. Walls will call somebody on his staff, and the staff will call it's just this whole phone thing. And we did this with 7 kids. I can't imagine Secret Service and all the. Who calls? And when you get that phone call, who's answering it? Right? I get a call this weekend from a number I don't know. I'm not answering. I got one less thing to think about. I would just give them credit. I don't know how the logistics of all that went. No clue.
Actually, I know a person who would know all of those logistics, and so I think you should have her on the show.
I would
love
that.
You and I will connect after.
Oh, love that.
Because this would be an interesting segment.
See, because, as an example, and it was beautiful, by the way, whoever organized it, when you said they're going to be laying in state at the Capitol, the 2 of them and their dog, I'm in my head, how does that work? Right? No. The dog had been cremated in a nice little urn with a great photo of the dog and the 2. It was beautiful. Whoever did it was absolutely, because, I don't know, you can't practice that at school. You're the person in charge, and what do you do if you have 2 people? You would never have that come up. Whoever did it did a wonderful job. It was gorgeous. The whole thing was great. So I'll give them credits for that, but I don't know who that person is. If you do, we'll have them on this show. I would love that. That would be huge.
I'm sure we could find out.
Okay. Well, let's get on that. I've got to go to break. When we come back, we're going to start talking politics with my gal. She's Shannon Watson, majority in the middle. We're getting back to our old ways. We're going to talk about how we can do this better right after this on the Al Travis Show.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience the outdoors and all the fun winter in Minnesota can provide. Pick your favorite way to get in touch with nature. Others like to explore downtown in the warm comfort of a boutique or gathered around a table with friends. You can do all of that or relax and do nothing at all. Come explore Alexandria. Start planning at explorealex.com.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
And we're grateful to have Shannon Watson on with us with Majority in the Middle. She knows everything about government, so I asked her the tough questions. Shannon, there was talk after they got the balanced budget, went through the whole special extra session, all that. They get the budget done. The governor was saying if he has to, he might call another special session because of things going on with the big, beautiful bill in Washington, what that would do to the state of Minnesota. The Department of Health and Human Services told Minnesota Department of Ed, this whole gal on the base softball team thing, we're going to look into that. Minnesota Private Education said they're going to keep going DEI, even though they said they could lose funding with that. Anyway, we're looking at hundreds of millions of dollars that could be eliminated from the federal government coming to Minnesota. Does that make us unbalanced in the budget? And does that automatically call them they've got to come back? Does the governor get to make up his mind? I want you to find that, or can you take it out of rainy day funds? What happens if the big, beautiful bill coming up this week does harm to Minnesota financially?
That's a very good question. Some of it has to do with the timing. The special sessions aren't called automatically, so they would have to decide to do that. And the reason that they would need to do that, it would be because, the input coming in, the money coming in, would be different than what's going out. And it depends on where that money is. Like if it's in the next fiscal year, then they might be able to go, wait until February when they're coming back anyway in 2026, and do a supplemental budget then. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything that's going to be sort of immediate, they would probably need to come back and figure that out.
Do they have to declare you can take the rainy day fund, or is that the governor saying, okay, let's throw a number out. We're $500 million short just to get us to January. I'm going to grab some rainy day fund. Is he on the checkbook for that?
That's a good question. I don't know who makes that decision.
All right. Well, then you're a big help. Anyway, because the next question is, again, it brings up the Hortman thing. Him talking about a special session is one thing, but he surely is not going to do it if he wanted to do it now until a special election is held, right? I mean, because now the House is decided it's 67-66 now, right? I mean, I would be wrong to think that even he would have to wait as long as he could to get that special election done? Yeah,
you're not wrong. I think beyond just the way that the vacancy became a vacancy, and his personal sort of relationship with Speaker Emerita Hortman. Like there's some sensitivity to that. I was talking to people last week who were talking about that special election and the likelihood of a special session. And the special session likelihood does go down when you have to deal with the special election first.
Well, sure. Because you don't want to do it, you don't want to rush it, make it look like, okay, now we've got this, let's do this. So you put off another month, 2 months, whatever it would be. You're still 3-4 months down the road, and now you're just literally, well, they want to get it done before the next session, right? No matter what, you're going to want a special election before that.
Yeah, and that is the thing. I mean, in fairness, that district is without representation right now, and so that is important.
Yeah.
And they want to, be able to do that. But beyond just the political who has the majority, there is that thing. So there's a specific amount of time that the governor has to call it, but it will need to be before the next session starts up.
And to get a lay of the land here, Hortman was fantastic. Everybody loved her. Is that a specifically safe seat there, or is it because she was so loved that was safer? I mean, if she was running and she was going to win. Is that a safe seat, if you will, for the Democrats, or is this going to be something where Republicans feel if we get down and dirty, we might pull this off and win this thing?
That is a very good question. I do think that it was absolutely a blue seat because of her.
Yeah.
Where we go from here, I don't know. I will tell you, this will be fun for your listeners, and this is sort of my Pollyanna plan on the special election. Like, this would be my dream on the special election. I mean, the first dream is we don't have to have a special election, but that has passed. So here's my dream, is that the Democrats put up a candidate who is just going to be a seat filler for the rest of her declared term.
No.
and the Republicans and any third parties put up nobody.
Oh.
So that they can't, right.
Well,
but
yeah,
he's
but
not going to run again in 2026. And then, then you sort of reset for 2026 elections the way they normally would be.
Yeah, I understand. See, what you're saying
it doesn't have to get ugly.
I get in, I will do nothing but vote as I believe Hortman would have for this next session, which will be bonding. And we'll get through that. But I will not run in the 2026 election. So it literally is, you guys hashes out. That would be wonderful.
Wouldn't it?
It would. What happens? Okay, we're talking politics. She was Speaker Emeritus.
Yes.
Who is up for that in January? And does that still hold true? Does the next person, because it's 34 or 67, would the next person have the right to go back to arguing with Dameth about who gets to have it, or is this Dameth for the duration?
Well, Dameth is definitely the speaker for the duration.
All right.
Now, so Speaker Emerita was the term, which actually Melissa Hortman was not the first Speaker Emerita. It was the term that was used by somebody else a little while back. But all the duties and responsibilities given that Melissa Hortman was enacting was based in the power sharing agreement. Mm-hmm. So whoever is the DFL leader next, which the DFL caucus is going to have to elect their next leader because that position is also vacant.
Yep.
They will probably do that sooner than later, and that isn't something that they wait for a special election for.
Okay. Who's the leader of the pack there? I'm gonna throw out Frentz because I know he's an assistant majority leader, has been for a long time. He's a good cat. Would he be in that top 5 for that position?
Frentz?
Yeah, Frentz.
Frentz is in the Senate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry. Boom. Thank you.
Yes, I think there are definitely people who are in the running, and one of the things that I was talking to your point about things being political and whatever, I think the next person who is elected to lead the DFL caucus, DFL House caucus, is going to say a lot about the tone that caucus wants to set moving forward. Oh. So that's going to be something interesting to watch.
And it probably isn't going to be just who do we think's the most Hortman-like?
I think there is going to be some of that. There is going to be some people who are, just interested in advancing the agenda and sort of, because there's going to be at least a couple of factions. One of them is going to be let's live up to her example, and then there is going to be, and we'll see how large this is. There will be a faction that is, we need to sort of avenge her.
Gotcha.
Death.
I want to throw this out because it wasn't mine, but Megan actually threw it out to me, and I love this idea. They are setting up a new House of Representatives office building. They're remodeling the one that is. Don't you think it'd be great if they named that after her? I love this. I want to start pushing this idea.
I have heard that from a couple of different people. First one being Eric Escala from TPT. So that is an idea that is circulating. I imagine there's going to be a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know I suppose they would have to do legislation to
name something,
rename that building.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, that would be nice.
Gotta fly. I hope you have a nice vacation. I thank you for doing the show with us. Always love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Al.
Shannon Watson with Majority in the Middle.